Jimmy Kimmel, seen for the first time since his late night show was indefinitely suspended by ABC. Here is Jimmy wearing sunglasses while getting out of his car in L.A. yesterday afternoon. As reaction continues to pour in, including from the late night community, let's have a look at Stephen Colbert, whose own show, of course, has already been canceled. Here's what he had to say last night right here on Global.
And to Jimmy, just let me say, I stand with you and your staff 100%. And also, you couldn't let me enjoy this for like 1 week. Just come on.
Come on, man. Come on. Both Stephen and Jimmy, of course, won Emmys earlier this week.
Colbert, of course, took over for David Letterman, who is Kimmel's hero. And here is Dave addressing the controversy during a panel discussion yesterday.
We all see where this is going, correct? It's managed media, and it's no good. It's silly. It's ridiculous. And you can't go around firing somebody because you're fearful.
All right. For more on the White House's reaction to this, let's bring in Global's Reggie Cicchini, who joins us from Washington. Reggie, there have been numerous charges that Kimmel's suspension is an attack on free speech. What is the president saying about this?
Well, Carolyn, Jeff, good morning. We heard from the president yesterday on two different occasions. Number one, in the United Kingdom, he approached this via kind of a media approach to say, look, Jimmy Kimmel's ratings weren't great. That part may be why he's off the air. But then when he was on Air Force One, he kind of moved in a different direction. And while this was originally comments that Jimmy Kimmel made that some on the right felt were inflammatory, linked to the death of Charlie Kirk and allegations about the alleged murderer in that investigation, Donald Trump claimed that the media is simply being unfair to him. And this is where advocacy groups tied to free speech and freedom of the press are starting to sound alarms. And that is because Donald Trump claimed that 97%, quote unquote, of media coverage of him is negative. And because of that, some affiliate stations in the United States should lose their licenses because he simply doesn't like the way that people are talking about him. And it gets to what that comment that David Letterman made, that this could potentially become managed media, where if the president doesn't like the coverage of him, he can simply try to shut down or silence these outlets. And again, that gets into a conversation as to how far the administration may be willing to go in terms of violating the Constitution. I talked to one expert yesterday, Jeff and Carolyn, who said in a democracy, dissent and protest and speech are the music that make that democracy sing. And if the White House is trying to stand in front of that, that could pose problems down the line.
Yeah. Reggie, on the topic of managed media, it was somewhat notable that The View, which airs on ABC, did not address this controversy on their show yesterday. Has Disney or ABC, have they spoken at all about this? Do we know when Kimmel might return to the air, if ever?
Well, yeah, look, on The View, it's interesting that you made a comment about The View yesterday, and then hours later, the FCC said, look, maybe we will have to put The View under a microscope. So it goes to show that this is not potentially going to stop with one. When it comes to Jimmy Kimmel, there are sources that suggest that this is not an over and done situation, that he may simply be sidelined temporarily, and there's a hope that he can come back if he's able to bring the temperature down. But again, this will become a question here as to whether Jimmy Kimmel may feel like he is being controlled as to what he is allowed to say. So again, this is something to watch going forward. It is not a complete picture here that the cancellation is in place. But again, if the FCC is actively trying to potentially stand in the way of that, or that business about these mergers is going to rely solely on what the FCC and the administration does, there's a lot of open questions here about what that 11:30 time slot is going to look like in the future.
More to come. All right, Reggie Cicchini in Washington for us. Thank you.